I know it's not easy when all eyes are on you. Believe me, I've done this for 15 years. I still get nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. What am I talking about? Public speaking, stage presentations, and training sessions. Being nervous and anxious before you get ready to deliver anything important is a sign that you are concerned and understand the significance of it. It's a very good sign that reflects how serious and thoughtful you are about the end result, the outcome. So, it's human and it's fine. Your audience is looking at you with curiosity, listening to you with expectations, trying to establish a dialogue that is truly engaging and a tone that is convincing. And guess what? They are smart enough to judge that in the first 10 to 15 minutes of your delivery. That window will shape the rest of your interaction with your audience. Will they be your engaged, attentive listeners? Or just a sea of nodding heads with a lost eye contact and the occasional yawn slipping through? I get it. For presenters and facilitators, it's not easy to capture the audience's attention and, more importantly, keep it. Welcome to this episode of The Consultant and Coach. In this episode, I'm going to share what's worked for me over the last 15 years, whether I'm delivering a stage talk, facilitating a training session, or a workshop. You'll walk away with a few practical tips you can use for your next presentation or a keynote to keep your audience hooked from start to finish. My extensive experience of delivering sessions, facilitating workshops, and leading stage talks has only reinforced something my master trainer told me back in 2008. When facilitating a session, you have to be a showman. That mindset has been a game changer for me. It's not just about presenting information, sharing experience, or sliding through a deck. It's more about connecting with your audience in a way that keeps them hooked. Let's dive right in. So for this episode, I'm going to introduce you to a powerful technique called the rhetorical triangle. When used effectively, this technique can deliver results that often exceed expectations. I have used this technique very often. In fact, every single time I do a stage talk or deliver a workshop, and every time the feedback from the audience has always been incredibly positive. The rhetorical triangle is a powerful model depicted as an equilateral triangle where each side represents one of the three key elements: ethos, pathos, and logos. These three elements are critical for influencing and persuading others during any communication, and mastering this can significantly improve the outcome. Ethos refers to establishing a speaker's credibility and authority, which plays an important role to persuade or convince the audience. People tend to gravitate towards sources they trust and respect. One reason why credible figures, whether experts, leaders, or celebrities, hold so much influence. It's no surprise that top celebrities are often seen endorsing everything from products, services, or causes, as their authority and public image can sway the opinions and actions of their audience. When preparing to facilitate a session, it's crucial to introduce yourself in a way that establishes your own ethos. Why are you the right person to lead this session? What makes you credible on the topic you are discussing? If you can effectively communicate your qualifications, experience, and authority on the subject, your audience will be more inclined to listen, engage, and trust your insights. In essence, by clearly demonstrating your credibility, you invite your audience to take your message seriously, convincingly. I have seen a lot of presenters, trainers, and speakers skip this step. They often assume that their audience already knows them and what brings them on the podium, or they have read the speaker's bio in the program booklet already. Well, without a clear and credible introduction, you risk missing the opportunity to establish the trust and authority necessary to connect with your audience from the outset. A strong introduction helps bridge the gap, ensuring that your message resonates and your audience is open to what you have to say. Pathos. Pathos is about connecting with your audience on an emotional level. A speaker achieves this by carefully choosing words, crafting meaningful language, and sharing examples or stories that stir emotions, creating a deeper, more personal connection with the audience. I have always believed that people resonate better with stories. They make ideas stick and create a lasting impact. So, when preparing for your next session, I encourage you to take the unconventional route. Instead of starting with the usual greeting or a dry introduction, open with something that immediately captures attention, such as a story, a case study, or a compelling example. Choose one that's not only engaging but also ties well to your topic or the overall message that you want to convey. A well told story can serve as a seamless transition into your core content, making your message more relatable and memorable. Alternatively, you can also consider starting with a thought provoking trivia or a riddle that ties directly to your subject. This can pick your audience's curiosity right from the beginning, setting the stage for a more dynamic session. Think about it. Would you want to watch a movie where you already know the plot and can predict every twist and turn? The same applies to your audience. If they can predict what's coming, their attention will likely wander. Take them for a surprise. This trick is a great go to for grabbing the attention of your audience and getting all eyes on you. Stories, anecdotes, and case studies are powerful tools for creating emotional connections with your audience. Some of my personal favorite stories that illustrate key lessons include The Anthropologist and the Ubuntu Experiment on Team Building, The Flea and its Vertical Jump on the Power of Subconscious Mind, and The Wright Brothers versus Samuel Langley on the importance of having a clear why. These stories aren't just engaging, they also drive home important point in a way that facts alone cannot. By using emotions to connect with your audience, you make your message not only heard but felt. And when people feel something, they are far more likely to remember it and act on it. Logos. Logos refer to appealing to the audience's sense of reason or logic. It's about presenting well reasoned argument backed by facts, data, and evidence to support your message. As the saying goes, in God we trust, everyone else brings data to the table. Citing trusted sources, sharing case studies, and using solid evidence can help persuade your audience by providing a rationale for your message. In my own presentations, I often incorporate well regarded white papers, research findings, and key statistics to reinforce my message. This not only lends credibility but also makes the information more relevant and meaningful to my audience. By backing up your points with data and research, you strengthen your message, content, and argument. Establishing a connection with your audience and maintaining it can be very tricky. To them, you are the expert, someone who's been there and done it types. It's as if you carry an invisible box. The box is filled with your valuable information, insights, and experience. Visualize this box is tied neatly with red sparkling ribbons, waiting to be opened, and once opened, it draws your audience in. What really matters is how you unwrap the box and present its contents. That's what determines whether your audience gets hooked or cooked. Think back to a keynote or a learning session you found truly engaging, the kind that kept you hooked from the start to finish. What captivated you? Was it the speaker's credibility, the way they established trust, ethos? Or perhaps it was the passion, the energy, the way they emotionally connected with the audience, pathos? Or maybe it was how they carefully crafted their message, choosing words and examples that resonated and seemed logical, logos. Martin Luther King Jr.'s iconic I Have a Dream. This speech was delivered on August 28, 1963 at the Lincoln Memorial. And it serves as a perfect example of how pathos can spell magic to captivate and persuade your audience. Incredibly, 250,000 people gathered for the event, far surpassing the organizers' expectation of just a few hundred thousands. What was the secret behind such an overwhelming turnout? It wasn't just the message, it was the emotional resonance of King's words. All he said was, I have a dream. Four simple words rooted in hope and vision stirred the hearts of millions and inspired a movement. King's ability to connect with his audience on an emotional level is a testament to the power of pathos in effective communication. Look at Steve Jobs' product launch for the iPod Nano, where he famously pulls the device from his jeans coin pocket. It's a masterclass in presentation and persuasion. In that moment, Jobs doesn't unveil a new product, he crafts an experience. The act of pulling the sleek, tiny iPod Nano from his pocket, something so small it could fit there. Instantly, this conveyed its revolutionary design and portability. This gesture was a brilliant use of ethos, pathos, and logos. I've delivered over 700 hours of learning sessions and workshops. I've also attended a good number of them. Believe me, I've been in sessions where the focus is so heavy on the PowerPoint slides that the actual conversation, connection, and persuasion takes a backseat. And then, of course, there is death by PowerPoint, where slides, the text on it, overwhelm the message and the audience's engagement starts to fade. Clearly, the three powerful elements are not visible, and the result is often a room full of disengaged learners, a sea of nodding heads, distracted glances. Without a strong connection to the speaker's credibility, an emotional hook, or a logical foundation, it's easy for the audience to drift away, both mentally and emotionally. So, the next time you prepare to deliver a session, consider the rhetorical triangle and aim to strike a perfect balance between ethos, pathos, and logos. You may do this by establishing your credibility, connecting emotionally with your audience, and backing up your message with logical arguments and evidence. This way, you will keep your audience engaged from start to finish. This approach will ensure that your message resonates with your audience on multiple levels, making it far more impactful and memorable. So, all the best for your next session. Happy delivery. Thank you for listening to this episode of my podcast.